Hi, my name is Delinda Andrew. I am an adventure and tourism course instructor here in Sibu branch of College Community. In this series of video for the National Research and Innovation Conference, I will be talking about my research paper, the e-learning during COVID-19 pandemic, a case study of College Community Sibu students. First, I'd like to begin this video by providing a brief introduction of my paper and the following points. Introduction. The main framework used in this case study, TAM, Technology Acceptance Model by Davis 1989. My research objectives, methodology, findings, and discussions. Let's begin by the first point. Specifically, the impact of the ongoing coronavirus pandemic on the e-learning education system here in College Community Sibu. At the beginning of COVID-19, around Malaysia, schools, universities, colleges are being shut as country work to slow down the spread of COVID-19, and this leads students out of classroom. Challenges abound for stay-at-home students trying to learn online. Students are forced to go home and learn remotely through online classes. And that may be, to many students, the lecturers are now just a voice over the phone or laptop. They don't have someone there sitting side by side watching them through lessons or helping them when they get stuck. With this new shift, which is away from the classroom situation, I am wondering whether the adoption of online learning benefited the students more in their analytical skill development. Of course, this e-learning is not something that can be learned overnight. Students certainly have their own perception in adopting e-learning during the COVID-19 phenomenon. Therefore, in order to address this problem, I came up with a case study highlighted Technology Acceptance Model TAM developed by Davis in the year of 1989 as my best model to study the outcomes of e-learning among the Sibu Community College students. This model considers the impact of perceived usefulness PU and perceived ease of use PEOU on e-learning in their education. Davies proposed the TAM model is useful because it describes where the process of consumer adopting new IT. The factors in the model, PU and PEOU, represent characteristics of the system. PU is seen as the extent to which the student believes that he or she would benefit from the e-learning process system. PEOU, on the other hand, is defined as the degree in which a person believes that using a particular system should be free from effort. And this explains the research objectives of my study. First, to identify the degree to a student believes on adapting e-learning that enhance his or her performance, perceived usefulness, PU. Second, to identify the degree to a student believes that adapting e-learning will be free from effort, perceived ease of use, PEOU. My respondents are 5 students of College Community Sibu branch students. Each student was interviewed via WhatsApp and Telegram. This semi-structured interview is done based on guided interview, which has key areas to follow, but also allows students to add whatever they think they would like to say. This gives me to explore some other areas of interest that can be added to this study. TAAM is to be implied in order to understand students' perceptions on e-learning in the midst of COVID-19 with the selected factors of perceived ease of use PEOU and perceived usefulness PU. The interview findings indicate that most of the students agree and like the e-learning approach. Students give positive feedback like e-learning enables them to finish their tasks faster. They gain more knowledge with e-learning program because they can access it easily and quickly. Third, e-learning programs save their money. According to the students, e-learning allow them to access different types of information resources easily for their assignments. E-learning is also considered as low-cost program as the program is paperless in terms of sending assignments as well as saving on car fuel or using public transportation to class for students. Students also feel comfortable learning from home too because they are safe. Therefore, perceived usefulness (PU) probably influence students' attitude towards the e-learning program, which in turn positively influence their acceptance in using it. However, on the other hand, perceived ease of use means the degree in which a person believes that using a particular system would be free from effort. This explains that if the student have to deploy less effort during the e-learning class, which means it is easy to use, they will probably positively influence the students. As for this paper, it is contrary to PU, as students were found to have less influence on PEOU for their intention of adapting e-learning. From the interview, I identified a few features of e-learning related perceived ease of use (PEOU), which are they still prefer lecturer giving instructions face to face, lacking appropriate devices for e-learning, troubleshooting technical issues, and difficulty in obtaining internet access. Before the pandemic outbreak, lecturers lectured face-to-face with students in the classroom. During these online lectures, although students enjoyed online classes, they still rely on conventional classroom method where they can be present in the class to hear direct explanation from their lecturer. It might take time for them to adapt to the new era of learning and may be due to cultural shock. With regards to this study, only 2 out of 5 students interviewed own a personal computer or a tablet or a laptop. Hawati and Jamrud, in their writings, wrote that during these tough times, students who come from poor families typically would prioritize family household such as food and sanitary over purchasing digital devices. This is in line with findings from a survey by the MOE involving close to 9,100 students, which indicate that 37 students do not have appropriate devices to learn e-learning. Some could not set up Google Classroom or having troubleshooting technical issues, for example, using Zoom application for meetings and class. And this requires assistance and guidance from the lecturer. The students do enjoy their online lectures, but the problem is obtaining internet access. Internet access is difficult due to the geographical state of the student's residency. Text from WhatsApp application is much easier to load, but apparently learning materials and other information from the internet takes a longer time to upload or download, which exhausted data quickly. This happened to a Sabahan student recently, Viviana Mosibin, who stayed overnight on tree just to get good internet connectivity for her exam, and it went viral. In this study, students are free to add whatever they want regarding the COVID-19 phenomenon. And one of the other features stated was e-learning is only better to keep physically distancing due to the pandemic, but they still choose to attend the actual class because of various reasons. This is in line with a previous study by Marcus that reported online learning is good in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic. But generally, students prefer to communicate with each other using oral interaction rather than virtual reality like e-learning. It was found that e-learning adoption is not affected by perceived usefulness variables found in the TAM model. The findings suggested that students perceive ease of use perceived use positively whereby e-learning program is desirable to provide more information and facts for students' tasks and assignments. During this online lecture, situation began to eliminate such as assignments are paperless and creates positive impact on their as well. Financial program as well. This finding is similar to the findings by markers in which students support the online system as a tool to help them learn beyond the usual model and to gain more information than before. As for perceived ease of use, students responded passively. Even if it's true that learning from home virtually is good, this is likely to be effective only for a proportion adequately equipped students. Based on the interview, instability of network resulted in a decrease for the adoption of e-learning programs. This is in line with one statement about the COVID-19 outbreak by the Sarawak Teachers Union, STU, which highlighted about limited internet access in some rural areas of Sarawak as one of the limitations faced by the teachers and students here. Therefore, the free 1 gigabyte mobile data provided daily by the government during the NCO is still not adequate to support students from rural areas in dealing with e-learning programs. It is suggested that a better e-learning improvement in perceived ease of use may be beneficial to influence a positive attitude towards online classroom among students. From the student response, many of them go for full classroom learning rather than virtual reality e-learning as they perceive online learning very helpful only during the midst of COVID-19 pandemic in order to stay safe by physically distancing. In order to boost a good e-learning program for the future, understanding a proper e-learning design for students-centered requires usage of students' perceptions. It is especially urgent to develop high-quality digital content that can be accessed everywhere, including the rural areas. As e-learning development in community college is still in its early stage, it is also good to equip the lecturers with the skill to acquire effectively the use of e-learning technologies. Hence, lecturers require relevant standardized guidelines and assessment strategies before teaching e-learning skills. A suggested future research to adopt the research methodology developed in this paper to conduct a study among lecturers and their readiness in implementing e-learning is much appreciated. Thank you.